Hey everyone, welcome to The Buzz with Bernadette. I'm your host, and each week we'll be diving into the hottest topics in beauty, pop culture and current events. Plus, we'll be joined by some very special guests who will share their insights and experiences. So get ready to dive into the latest buzz on The Buzz with Bernadette. Okay, so today we have Alexander. Welcome to The Buzz with Bernadette.
Thank you, Bernadette. I don't usually take off my sunglasses, but I will for you.
Wow. Well, it is quite bright for you under the lights today.
You know what I say? I want to be lit by the whacker lights.
Actually, that's what I say.
No, that's what I say.
That off me. Now, look, the reason why we've got you here today, we're going to talk about a few little projects that you've been doing. I know you hate talking about yourself.
I'm not one to post online or exist in any forward-facing way.
Now, last year you did a modelling campaign, a national modelling campaign. Can you tell us more about that?
So I have, earlier on, I never thought I'm going to be a model as I get older, because it's always when people say modelling, you always go to Zoolander and you kind of go to more silly versions of it, which in a way it kind of is, in an awesome way though.
Yeah.
And an opportunity came up originally I did photos just for a local sunglass brand, which was awesome, Frankenfritz.
Yeah.
And then from that, I got another campaign for the B store. And then from that, I got to actually I was flown to Sydney for Johnny Bigg's autumn and suiting campaign.
That is so good. So your history with modelling was really you had 3 sort of jobs.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Yeah.
If only it could be that easy for everybody.
Yeah, see, it only just takes 3 random jobs strung together.
And that's it. Guys, if you're listening, that's how easy modelling is.
Don't get into it. No.
Don't get into it. Don't give him competition.
But what's really kind of fun is that a lot of the skill sets I've realised they translate across the board. When we think of creativity, because I don't know, you're similar to me maybe. I don't like the idea of just being one thing.
Yes, I can't be pigeonholed.
I can't be one thing. And that idea of if I had just been I am a model and all I'm going to do is post photos and I'll do test photo shoots and anything to do with modelling, that's all I'll post. I was I can't exist in one space. I love the idea. And that's why when you see these actors, a lot of them, they move across. They make perfumes, they write a book, they sing songs, they release an album, they're in a movie, they're public speaking, they're emceeing events, and I love that.
I love that too, because do you remember back in the day where Instagram was all about the aesthetic? You had to use one filter and all the way through. I could not do that, and I'm so glad I never did that, because here we are today. That's obsolete.
Yes.
Nobody does that anymore.
No.
I can't be pigeonholed.
No.
I want to be model, content creator. I want to do everything. Presenter, MC, podcaster. I want to do it all. And so that is so great. So it took you to Sydney. You
and
shot
this is
the
where,
national campaign.
Yeah, and when you kind of are not naive, but you're a bit green to a profession, and when they're we'd love to book you for this one because you do a Zoom interview. And I was just I'm so excited. Do I pay for my flight over?
Yeah, well.
And they were oh, no, we cover that. And I was just of course you do. Of course you do. Just my usual.
But it's again, bringing it back to Instagram. Not every job is the same.
No.
What if some people want you to pay for this and
you almost
that?
want to be you're very grateful for an opportunity.
Yeah,
so you almost
humble.
Want to, what can I do to
You were raised with manners.
Yeah.
You're not going to go, oh, of course my flights are paid for,
You don't want to be that person.
But
it's also trying to appreciate where it is about in this industry, valuing yourself, which I think is so key, because now more than ever, to work in the creative arts, it's a somewhat unregulated industry. There's
it is.
I always use the metaphor when I used to work at a supermarket. Let's just call it Coolworths.
Yeah. I wonder what that is. Anyway, think about that one.
I always used to think if someone had said to me oh, you'll be on this checkout, but we're going to pay you in exposure.
Yeah.
And I'll be because lots of people will come through your checkout. And it's just that I can't that would be illegal.
I know.
The Coolworths would get in trouble. Like, that's completely unallowed. They could never.
Right.
But in the arts, we're more than happy to say, oh, well, this is good exposure for you. And no one's going to be like, that's illegal to make someone perform for free.
I agree with you, because I always bring it back to the hairdresser model. You would never go up to a hairdresser and go, can you just do my hair?
Yeah.
And, it'll be fine. Like, I won't pay for it. It'll be great exposure for you.
Yeah.
And it's just not right. Like, we are actually providing a service.
Yes.
And we take time to edit, create,
film, light, produce, script.
And in some ways, sometimes it takes a lot longer. You're up at night editing till long hours of every night. Like, we don't sleep.
No, and it's a job that doesn't really have an on and off switch because it exists in so many spaces that,
100%. And it's not only one platform.
No.
You're going across multiple
platforms and trying to bring a lot of value to the client as well. It's not just a case of just give me something for free and I'll film it. It's just like, no, I want to help you.
Yeah.
It's symbiotic. I want you to succeed. And how can I get you to that?
But it's time to start valuing our time and the skills, because it does take a big skill set to do content creation.
Yes.
You got to know how to light properly. You have to know how to edit properly. You have to add sound properly.
Yes.
Get good audio quality.
Yes.
There's so much creative vision that comes with it. So there is a lot.
And I can appreciate why some people might perceive it one way, because it is a very much like you get a little insight into someone's life, and it does appear like, always at events, always on boats, always at parties, free this, free.
Yeah.
And to a certain degree, that is a part of it, but it is by no means it's just this charmed wake up and everything's free and you waltz through the world.
Exactly.
Not at all.
And that goes back to modelling as well.
Same thing.
Back in the day, people always would think the same about modelling.
It's nothing.
So much fun. This. But they don't see that you're waking up at 5 a.m. in winter to do a bikini shoot.
Yeah.
And you're freezing. Or you haven't eaten all day because they're not taking any breaks because they've got to get the sunlight.
Yes.
They're not seeing that side of it.
Yeah.
And that is our job, to make things look fabulous and easy. And that's why we do it well.
Yeah. And I can appreciate that it is an elected profession. So it's like no one's forcing you to do any of these jobs. But by the same token, that doesn't mean that just because no one's forcing you doesn't mean that you can be like taken advantage of when you do these jobs.
Exactly.
And I think if the economy and you can see there is an economy behind all of this, there is value behind it.
There is value because it's changing. Yeah. People aren't advertising in that space anymore that they used to, like TV.
New media. Yeah.
My kids
television
don't watch TV. They don't. What is TV to them? It's all streaming services.
And it's so interesting to see some of the streaming services now introduce ad revenue back into it. Because before it was that they were just growing a membership base, and now they're actually introducing ad revenue back in. So it's almost like we're getting a form of television style.
That's exactly right.
On a streaming service. So everything's merging.
We're on the precipice now because, and in newspapers as well. Are people advertising newspapers? Magazines. What?
Yeah.
What are they?
They're almost like a legacy product that like a Vogue magazine survives as a kind of piece of legacy of the brand alone.
Yes.
But they've moved into the digital space just as much as anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. And therefore the value needs to be seen now as we turn over into the new media.
Yes.
And that's why
it's all converging.
This is a real job.
I'm thinking
what we're doing is a real job.
Yeah, it's not made up. And do you get this question a lot
too?
Probably
to justify this.
Where people say like, "But what do you do?" Do you get that? I get that
all the time. And I'm like, well, I do so many things, but I think it's easier to just say, look, I'm a full-time content creator.
Right.
But then again, here I am doing a podcast.
Right. Which technically falls under the banner of.
Yeah.
So in a sense, you are
media.
A creative. And whether that means you put your creativity into emceeing, into presenting, into modelling, wherever you're putting that creativity, what a beautiful thing that you get the opportunity to have all these outlets for it. Because in the reality of an economy, how wonderful. I've loved doing that campaign.
Yeah.
But it's not like I get to shoot a national campaign. Next week I'll do another one. Next week after that I'll do another one. And it's always the next thing.
That is the thing in this industry as well, is that it's there's no regularity. No. You have to make your next opportunity. Yes. You have to hustle. And now we're living in a space where because it looks so fabulous,
Yes.
it's getting the pool is quite congested here.
And I can see why, because it's like I can't even imagine, having worked a few kind of corporate space contracts, you start to think like, wow, if my everyday is to come into an office and have to, between this time, and this is your lunch, and this is that, and this is the meeting, and this, you're like, wow, creativity almost suffocates in that environment. You're like, the corporate structure, it's so rigid.
And that's why I guess a lot of people do have a full-time job, but then they do like to do this on the side as that outlet, and that is wonderful. But you always have to realise, like, why? Ask yourself, why am I getting into it? Is it because I really love that? Is I really love the creative space? I want to be a creator? Or am I just doing it for the wrong reasons because I want free things, or I want to be invited? Is it a sense of wanting to be included in things?
Right.
Because it is actually quite hard, when you get into it, and it is a lot of work.
Yes.
It is a lot of work, especially if you did have a full-time job.
Yes.
If you do have children.
Yes, I can't even imagine.
Stuff like that. So, it's definitely something that you want to get into.
Mm-hmm.
You need to see where it's going to fit into your life and balance it out accordingly. So, yes. Well, we definitely can see where our passions lie.
Yeah. So that's why we're both leaving content creation. We've decided to return to our jobs at the bank.
We are, Alexander, we have an important announcement to make.
Yes.
We are leaving Instagram.
We are leaving Instagram.
Yes.
I just feel like it's time.
If you did leave Instagram, what would be the platform you would fall back on the most? What would be your second? I know. No one's asked this. This is a very
hard-hitting question, Bernadette.
Very hard-hitting question.
What would I do? Is it still an option to just sort of be on a corner and yell?
I would call the
town square.
I would call people to pick you up.
Yeah, just karaoke is where I would head. That would be my new platform.
Okay, then what would be your go-to karaoke song?
I always sing "You Raise Me Up."
Okay,
the Josh Groban version.
You do.
Because it's always funny when you ask for that, because they're always like, what? Everyone's asking for the Journey, Take On Me, all those songs.
A Whole New World is the first thing that always comes to my mind.
We love a bit of Disney.
We love a bit of Disney.
Yeah.
I know.
Disney on Ice is coming as well.
I know. Oh, what a segue. I'm so excited.
Very excited. June 6th. It's only here for a limited time too.
Oh my gosh.
We'll have to go and dress up.
We have to go. The thing is, do we go hardcore Disney dress up?
Is it like full characters?
Or do we just, full characters? I've got the big head on. No. Or do I just go as a princess with long flowing hair?
I could go for that thing where you style in the theme, but you're not actually in cosplay.
Yeah, so you don't want me to embarrass you, is what you're saying.
Come dressed in a full ball gown of Cinderella.
That's right. It wouldn't be beneath me. All right, so this was your way of getting out of answering the next platform, because I
don't know what it is. And if I did, I wouldn't tell anyone.
Oh, okay.
I've got to protect that. I need to be an early adopter.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'm always ahead of the curve. If you're not an
early adopter, you don't want to play. Is that it? Oh,
no. Meanwhile, I got on Instagram so late. I came in
do you know what?
It's like the party was over.
But this is the thing. This is a good example. You got onto Instagram probably a year and a half, maybe longer, 2 years ago. And
it's such a different platform from when I remember you saying when you started.
Yeah, so different. We'd need another whole episode to talk about those differences.
The history of Instagram.
The history of when I was a child. But, so look, I think we will discuss that next time.
Absolutely.
And I think for now we will wrap it up. Thank you so much. We started on one topic, ended on another, but I like that.
Hey, we go where
we know how to pivot.
We know how to pivot.
We do. Thanks so much for joining us today, Alexander.
My absolute pleasure, Bernadette. Keep smouldering, everyone.
We'll see you next time. Thank you all for listening to The Buzz with Bernadette. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and don't forget to share it with your friends. Keep that buzz going, and we will catch you next Thursday.